See, the problem is it happened with when nobody showed up there. So the thing is, it's one reason why. That's the only reason why here. See, after Stretch had died, you know, on November 30th, 1995. A few days later, his funeral was already starting. A couple days later, but nobody else showed up. See, nobody shows up. Not even any rapper in the history. There no rappers showing up there. Nobody shows up at his funeral. Nobody's gonna show up there and see the only people that were in attendance at his funeral had to be his family there, especially his family there, his mom, his daughters, his brother, his mom, his daughter, his brothers, one of his brothers there, and you know, and a few other people, especially close friends. You know, Tupac Tupac never showed up at the funeral, so Biggie never showed up at the funeral. It's just one of those people that came through is Ed Lover. Ed Lover is one of those guys who co-hosted Yo MTV Raps with Fat Ass Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the bottom of why that no other rapper have ever attended the funeral of Randy Walker, who was also known as Big Stretch. Big Stretch. Let's watch this. Let's watch this closely. Walker, known as Stretch, was a member of the group Live Squad. Police say Walker was driving in Hollis, Queens overnight on his way home from his brother's house when someone in a passing car shot at him at least 3 times, causing him to crash his van. And did Tupac go to Stretch's funeral? No. Once I lost my brother, man, it was like, I'm just like with him. Like that. And you're like, Stretch and Pac was like this. Where did it go? What? How did that relationship break down? After quad, after the quad shoot. So the reason I knew my homeboy set me up is because my homeboy knew I was strapped. The dude came straight for me. My homeboy, if I did work for swag, my homeboy behind, they didn't do nothing. They just was grabbing, and I could have boxed. But they got guns so people to come up to me and just sit there. And they say, get, and it dropped to the floor. I knew it was set up. On November 30th, 1994, Tupac was shot at Quad Studios in a moment that changed hip hop forever. Exactly 1 year later, on the same day in 1995, Stretch, one of Tupac's closest friends, was off in his hometown after being chased down and shot by two perpetrators in a car. Walker, known as Stretch, was a member of the group Live Squad. Walker was only about 3 blocks away from his home right here. He didn't make it, and his family doesn't know why. Was this a coincidence, or was this a revenge hit connected to Tupac? Well, that question seemed to be answered when neither Tupac nor other big name rappers showed up to Stretch's funeral. I'm like, yo, like, yo, is Pop coming to the funeral? Big calling, like, yo, it's real, man. Big, you know what I'm saying? And they ain't come to the funeral. Stretch ain't have nothing to do with what happened to you in the quad studio. That was your man. You could have showed up at his funeral. You should have showed up and just paid your respects. Or even if he wasn't coming, you could have sent something. The reality was that nobody wanted to be associated with Stretch after his death because his name had become too controversial. There were rumors that Stretch might have been involved in Tupac's shooting at Quad Studios. Some even claimed he was caught talking disrespectfully about Tupac, saying Tupac shot himself during the incident.
goes back to what Biggie has said, what Cease has
There's
said.
an audio that's been online for a few years now, a stretch. And, he talking a little spicy about Pac, man, getting shot at quad.
So they try to say he shot himself.
You hear that, man? You hear the hate and the saying it.
Stretch is trying to take Stretch is trying to take what Biggie has said about Pac. Lil C's, from the Junior Mafia. Lil C's. He started saying the same thing about Tupac had shot himself.
Let's get deeper. Stretch and Tupac weren't just friends. They were practically brothers. The two collaborated on several tracks together, and their bond seemed unshakable. But everything
That was ever since the Juice film. Ever since the Juice film. That was ever since the Juice film.
And it became clear that Tupac believed Stretch had some kind of involvement in the shooting.
Stretch was already on Tupac's album, bro.
How did that relationship break down after the quad shoot?
Why did Tupac think this? A big reason was that Stretch had connections to the people allegedly behind the incident. Being from Queens, Stretch was familiar with Asian Jack and Jimmy Henchman,
Yep.
two notorious figures in the New York underworld. On the night of the shooting, Stretch was
Asian Jack and Jimmy Henchman was behind it. They were behind the robbery and shooting of this man.
Stretch, a towering figure at 6'8", and the reason for his
He wasn't even towering over those dudes, no way.
threat to the government.
He ain't towering over those dudes, no way. He ain't towering over no motherfucking bullets. He ain't towering over no bullets. That's what he said.
Shared his confusion and suspicion, saying, "I was like, what should I do? I'm thinking Stretch is going to fight."
I read this shit already.
From what I know about the criminal element, if it's come to rob you, they always hit the big first.
I just read that shit.
They came straight to me.
I read that shit already.
Dropped to the floor like
I never read that,
I
though.
just froze up. It wasn't like I was being brave or nothing. I just could not get on the floor. Pac also said this.
And the reason I knew my homeboy set me up was because my homeboys knew I was strapped. And the dudes came straight for me, my homeboys.
This was from the audio tape.
If I get word from Sway,
This
my
was
homeboys behind
this was from the audio tape of the interview.
me, and I could have boxed. But they got guns for me because they come up to me and these niggas just sit. And
They ain't do nothing.
drop to the floor.
Why not do nothing this time?
The situation became even more questionable when Stretch passed on messages to Tupac from Jimmy Henchman while Tupac was recovering from the shooting. That's when Tupac's suspicions solidified. He started believing Stretch might have played a role in setting him up.
When he came and said, Jimmy Henchman, I remember like yesterday, Jimmy Henchman said, you don't want to go to war because you don't got your money right. And I'm looking like, am I the only one that said, how do a friend bring this message to a friend? Like, you know what I mean? So that felt awkward to me. Like,
Adding to the suspicion, Tupac had been brought to Quad Studios under the pretense of working with Lil Sean, an artist managed by none other than Jimmy Henchman. Jimmy was well known as both a music manager. That's why
Henchman that sent some cats to go kill Lil D Mac. Lil D Mac gets killed because Henchman already sent them dudes to kill him. And Henchman went to jail. And Henchman went to jail for it.
I met him through some rough characters I knew. He was trying to get legitimate and all that, so I thought I was doing him a favor. But when I called him back for directions, he was like, "I don't have the money." So I said, "If you don't have the money, I'm not coming."
Oh.
Only Tupac wasn't the type to charge people he felt he was helping, especially other black artists. He had a strong desire to uplift his people and help them get ahead in life. But this time, he decided to charge Henchman because he felt something was off. Pac continued. He hung up the phone and then called me back, saying, "I'm going to call Andre Harrell to make sure you get the money, but I'm going to give you the money out of my pocket." So I said,
But Andre Harrell is now dead, bro.
As they approached the studio, someone called down from above. It was Lil Cease, one of Biggie's close friends. Pac said, "That's my homeboy. As soon as I saw him, all my concerns about the situation were relaxed." But looking back, it's clear that Tupac...
They showing me this video, bro.
He was the target, and whoever planned this knew exactly where he was going to be.
it's December 1st, 1994.
This was shown right after the incident at Quad Studios.
The incident was initially classed as a robbery, but things didn't add up. A Haitian Jack, someone Tupac had
Haitian Jack had something to do with it.
that the attack was about
And then
revenge.
these 18 guys with
Tupac
army
Jack
fatigues and
said,
shit.
This was a bold move.
And these niggas, you got these niggas called the A
Jack and
team.
his associates were considered to have significant street
You got some niggas. You got some niggas from the East Coast that was known like what, the A team.
However, Jack admitted that the plan went wrong and later received a call from the associate informing him.
They come to jack the dude. They come to jack the dude. That's what happened.
Listen, man, I got it, movie, and it went all bad.
Bitch, they just went and jacked them.
You know who it was because you answered, and they said that the job went bad.
Listen, I got at dude. Remember I told everybody not to get at. Somebody got at.
Well, Jack didn't.
They did. Somebody did get at Pac.
Referring to Jimmy Henchman. It's highly likely that Tupac was set up. Still, some argue that this doesn't necessarily mean Stretch was involved, nor did it mean Puffy or Biggie, who Tupac also accused later on, had anything to do with it. At the time, though, Tupac was understandably paranoid. He was recovering from
He was pissed. He was confused and paranoid.
In his Vibe interview with Kevin Powell, Tupac described the mental toll it took on him. Yes, I have headaches. I wake up screaming. I've been having nightmares, thinking they're still shooting me. All I see is pulling guns, and I hear the dude saying, "Shoot that mother effer," and I'll be like, "Damn, I have a headache." Later shared that a psychiatrist at Bellevue Hospital told him he was experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck with Tupac was how the other guys with him that night had just dropped to the floor. He said it hurt him to see them do that while he froze in place.
They did that to
They
him.
were unarmed and had guns pointed at them. What could they have realistically done? In a 2005 Vibe interview, Jimmy Henchman opened up about the infamous shooting at Quad Studios, claiming to have had a candid conversation with Tupac after the incident. According to Jimmy, he told Pac, "Nobody came to rob you. They came to discipline you, and that's what happened." This statement reinforced suspicions that the attack was far from a random robbery. It was targeted and calculated. As for Stretch,
They took his jewelry and shit. They took his jewelry, his rings, watch, and chain.
Tupac's life, even collaborating with him on tracks like Many Tears. However, by the time Tupac's landmark third album, All Eyes on Me, was released, Stretch's contributions.
Yeah, in early 1996. In early 1996, that album was released.
Between the two former friends, Stretch himself spoke about the fallout in his own Vibe interview, expressing confusion and frustration over Tupac's accusations. He said, "Me and Pac have been down."
I've read that already. Don't even worry about it. What's the commercial blocks?
At Tulane Doctors, we know your health can't wait.
So we book the appointments. Easier than that.
Disney Plus, Hulu y HBO Max. Lo mejor en entretenimiento en un paquete.
From day one.
Oh, I read that shit.
Ford's first album, That's My Man.
I've read that already.
He didn't buy it, bugged me out.
3 years ago, I read it.
He likes to talk a lot, especially when he's upset. He'll say that he won't even
I read that too.
He'll think about it later and be like, "Damn, why the hell?"
I read that too.
Stretch also took issue with Tupac airing their issues publicly, saying in that interview, Pac was talking all that shit about thug life, being ignorance, and telling ninjas names and all that.
I read that.
I don't even understand why he went there.
I read it too.
Pac mad times after the shooting.
I read that too.
None of that shit to me. You know how he feels about the media, so why would he go and
Read
do
it.
an interview like that? He's supposed to be a street ninja. He should have kept it in the street. Ninjas on the street live by rules, man.
Read that.
That rule right there. That's a rule that's never to be broken.
Read that.
Tupac's comments about Stretch not stepping up during the attack also struck a nerve. Pac had said he expected Stretch, who stood at 6'8" and towered over everyone, to fight back. Stretch responded, Pac saying all this shush in the interview like, "I thought Stretch was gonna fight. He was towering over them." Now that dude knows I ain't never gonna be out like no beat, but I ain't dumb. I ain't got no gun. What the F am I supposed to do? I might be towering over them, but I ain't towering over no slugs. Unfortunately, just 4 months after that interview, Stretch was off in a drive-by shooting in Queens.
man.
His death only deepened the mystery and speculation surrounding his alleged involvement in the Quad Studios incident. Many believe Stretch was unfairly blamed. Several people, including Napoleon from the Outlaws, Nas and Zayd, Tupac's sister's boyfriend,
He
have
knew.
come to Stretch's defense over the years. Zayd, who was also at the studio that night, insisted Stretch had nothing to do setup.
Well, he had nothing to do with it, but why he trying to ruin it though? He already told Cease and them that he did do it.
What else could they
Stretch already told Cease that he did set up Tupac.
was the mastermind behind the shooting. Over the years,
Stretch have already told Cease and them. Stretch already told Lil Cease and them that he did set up Tupac to get robbed in the studio.
Currently, Henchman is serving a life sentence plus 20 years for charges including drug trafficking, conspiracy to Emder, and Emder for hire. Exactly a year
Dude,
to the day.
he hired some dudes to kill a close associate of G-Unit's member Marvin Bernard.
Stretch was a member of the Live Squad. Police say Walker was driving in Hollis, Queens overnight on his way home from his brother's house when someone in a passing car shot at him at least 3 times, causing him to crash his van.
After a high-speed
Yeah.
pursuit, Stretch was shot and his car crashed into a tree. Earlier in the evening, Stretch had been giving people rides. He had just dropped off his brother, and according to Nas,
Yeah, Majesty. Yeah, the Majesty.
Unfortunately, that kindness would
That's
kill
brother,
his
the
last
Majesty.
acts. Stretch's death left his family devastated, including his mother, siblings, and his young daughter, who at the time was also Tupac's goddaughter. Stretch's mother later spoke about the tragedy, saying, "He never talked to me about having enemies. My son was a very loving, kind person. I don't know why they did this to him."
I don't know if the thing is
Some two dudes that tried to kill him because he owed them money for the dope.
jealous of his success.
Stretch up owed those dudes money for the dope. That's why.
When Tupac was asked about Stretch's Emder, his response was surprisingly cold, given how close they had once been. In an interview with The Source, Tupac said, "Stretch was my closest dog, my closest homie.
That's
I did
what
a
I
lot of
read.
drama. I got into a lot of cases and shoved because of Stretch. Money-wise, he could have had anything.
I read that.
His daughter was my daughter. Whatever she wanted, she could have. Then this shit happened, and the ninja didn't ride for me. He didn't do what your dog is supposed to do when you're
Yeah,
shot up.
I read that.
I was in jail. Ninja never wrote me, never got at me. His homeboys were coming to see me, and he wasn't coming to see me. And he started hanging around Biggie right after this. I'm in jail, shot up, his main dog, and he's hanging out, going to shows with Biggie. Both these ninjas never came to see me.
I read
Others
those.
who knew Stretch, like Ed Lover, have pushed back against Tupac's perspective. Ed explained that Stretch couldn't visit Tupac in jail because he didn't have a valid ID due to being a convicted felon, something Pac may not have taken into account.
Pac felt away because he said that Stretch and Manson did come see him when he was locked up, but they couldn't come see him because he had to have ID.
Ed also criticized Tupac for expecting Stretch to pick sides between him and Biggie, pointing out that the three of them had all been friends. According to Ed, Tupac knew who was really behind the Quad Studios attack.
This was long before that. This was long before the robbery too.
Over Tupac's paranoia wasn't fair, put Stretch in an impossible position.
They were friends. The friendship and that bond was B.I., God rest his soul, Stretch, and Pac. They were all cool, bro. So you can't ask somebody to pick a side when you know that what happened to you did not come from that person. So you actually Stretch to choose a side, and he's like, "You're my man, and he's my man. You know where this came from. You know who you was messing with, and we kept telling you not to mess with it. So you know where it came from, bro."
Ed Lover also revealed that he started having problems with Tupac over how he handled Stretch's death. He was particularly upset that Tupac didn't show up to Stretch's funeral. As Stretch's daughter's godfather, Ed felt Tupac should have at least paid his respects or sent condolences to Stretch's family. In Ed's words, no matter what had happened, he should have shown some respect.
And did Tupac go to Stretch's funeral? No. And that's when him and I had problems. Because we are both godfathers to his daughter. Stretch ain't have nothing to do with what happened to you in a Quad Studio. That was your thing. You could have showed up at his funeral. You should have showed up and just paid your respect. Or even if you wasn't coming, you could have said something.
Even years later, Stretch's Emder remains a topic of debate. For example, Reggie White Jr. has hinted that Stretch's KA may have been a revenge hit tied to Tupac. He pointed to the timing. Exactly a year after the Quad Studios shooting.
Look, the former security officer already had sent them dudes to go kill Stretch.
Someone in the studio who was rumored to be involved in sketchy activities.
So what happened on the anniversary?
Reggie had something to do with it, man.
This shooting yesterday at the Quad Studios in Tupac. associate
Reggie had sent them dudes to go kill Stretch.
was out there. He came back a day or two later. Pac hugged him like he was Gaddafi. That's all I'll say.
While a hug doesn't prove anything.
I don't know if Pac has something to do with it. I don't know what Tupac has something to do with it. But he never would have. This all happened when Stretch got killed by some Bloods.
In the late 1980s, Stretch, alongside his brother Christopher, known as Majesty, and DJ Kalo, formed the group Live Squad. The group blended rapping and producing. And in 1988, they dropped their debut EP, EQ in Full Effect.
Yeah.
The project featured tracks like Troopin' It and We Ain't Havin' It, showcasing Stretch's distinctively deep, raspy voice that became his trademark. Stretch's talent caught attention early on. In 1990, he connected with Shock G of Digital Underground, a pivotal relationship that helped push him further into the scene. Stretch featured on Digital Underground's 1991 album on the track Family of the Underground, and even remixed their single No Nose Job. That same summer, Stretch's path crossed with Tupac Shakur, marking the start of a powerful friendship and creative partnership. Tupac, who was still rising in the game, quickly became close with Stretch. Their chemistry was undeniable, and Stretch's connections helped Tupac land TV appearances and studio sessions. For example, when Tupac performed his 1992 single If My Homie Calls on Yo MTV Raps, Stretch had his back. Ed Lover, a host of the show and a supporter of Live Squad, praised the group's demo tape, which helped them secure a deal with Tommy Boy Records. By the early 90s, Live Squad had started making waves. In 1992, they released a double A-side single, M. Dara, Heartless, followed by another release, Game of Survival, Punk for a Living in 1993. They even went the extra mile to create an ultra-violent promo short film, Game of Survival, which featured 6 tracks from their upcoming album. Stretch's influence wasn't just limited to music. He also appeared in movies like Who's the Man, 1993, and Tupac's Bullet, 1996. During this time, Stretch and Tupac's bond grew stronger. While Tupac was filming his breakout movie Juice, Stretch and Tretch from Naughty by Nature were extras on set. When Tupac's trailer was raw, Stretch and Tretch didn't hesitate to handle the situation, delivering a beat down to the culprits. Stretch's contributions to Tupac's music are undeniable. He worked on Pac's debut album, Tupac Lives Now, in 1991, producing and rapping on tracks like Cricket Epic Ninja, while Tupac's star power was still building at the time. The release of Juice in 1992 helped boost his career. Stretch continued collaborating with Tupac on his second album, Strictly for Money. This in 1993, the Live Squad produced and were featured on Struggling and collaborated on the iconic track 5 Deadly Venoms alongside Stretch and Apache. Stretch also produced 2 other notable tracks, The Streets Are Death Row and Holler If You Hear Me, which further showcased his versatility as a producer and artist. Stretch wasn't just behind the scenes though. He made cameo appearances in music videos like Mac Mall's Ghetto Group, which was directed by Tupac, and the collaborative track Call It What You Want, featuring Above the Law, Money B, and Tupac. He even joined Tupac on the Arsenio Hall show in 1994 to perform Pain, a track from the Above the Rim soundtrack. Although Pain was only available on the cassette version and as a B-side single, it quickly became a fan favorite and solidified Stretch's place in the rap world. Sadly, Stretch's life was cut short before he could fully realize his potential. Despite this, his contributions to hip-hop remain significant.
Yeah, that had remained significant, really significant. Okay, this video is dedicated into the memoriam of Randy Walker, who was also known professionally to the world as Stretch. Born on August the 21st, 1968, and died on November the 30th, 1995.